guys, I have a book haul and an unboxing for all of you today. This I think is the first unboxing I've actually done because usually I'm too excited to unbox things before I can actually film it. So it's just the timing was just right for getting this, picking it up from the post office, and so I'm very excited. I have a book depository order to unbox, and most of it is books I've been thinking about a long time that I wanted, and I still had some birthday money I hadn't used up yet. So it was really fun to think about specifically the December reading that I want to be doing. I don't know about any of you, but December is the month that I like put the most thought and planning into, maybe aside from October. But just to me, I want like the most idealistic December reading, and I want every option possible for my TBR, like if I want a cozy, if I want a mystery. So I'm really excited about that. And then I know I just had a New York City book haul, but I went to that same library bookstore and they had some books that I wanted, so I got them, and they're like $2 for hardbacks, $1.50 for trade paperbacks, so it's really hard to turn them down. But I also wanted to announce that I think I will be doing Vlogmas this year, and I'm getting very excited about it. I think I'm finally like settled in enough at my new place after moving that I feel like lots of energy for my channel again and a willingness to like work hard at it again. So I'm really looking forward to those videos. I think I've come up with some creative ones, and hopefully I'll start filming those, so some of them will be ready, and then filming some during December. Anyhow, without further ado, here's my book haul. And I got 2 Elizabeth Gaskell because after Sylvia's Lovers, I was like, all right, I only have Mary Barton, and then I won't have any more Elizabeth Gaskell to read, so I need some backup. So I got Cousin Phyllis and Other Tales, and these are I think 8 short stories, and it's Lizzie Lee, The Old Nurse's Story, Half a Lifetime Ago, Lois the Witch, The Crooked Branch, Curious If True, and Cousin Phyllis. And I was looking up these different stories on Goodreads, and some of them seem really, really different, like I said about all of her books, but from what she usually writes. So I'm really looking forward to trying these out because some of them just seem really unique and definitely not typical Elizabeth Gaskell realm. Then I got Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell. And this is about an orphan seamstress, and I think she just has lots of turbulent events that happen in her life. And I think ultimately this has a happy ending, which would be nice. It's always nice to end on a good note, but it's Elizabeth Gaskell, so I must read it. And Lauren from Burnt Fiction, she talked about reading The Poor Clare, which unfortunately was not in that short story collection, but she talked about reading The Poor Clare and how she was like, there's something about Elizabeth Gaskell's writing that when you read it, you're just like, yes, Elizabeth Gaskell, yes. And I think she put it really well. Like, there is just something about her writing that I don't know the word to put for it either, but it's just, I love it. Then I picked up one for my grandmother because she was saying she wanted to read something nice and light. We were texting, like you do with your grandmother, and I got Miss Buncle's book for her. This has the former owner's address, but Miss Buncle's book, and this is a modern classic by D.E. Stevenson, and the premise is very fun. I read it earlier this year and really fell in love with it, and it's about a woman in a small town who writes a book about her small town using pseudonyms for people, but it's very easy to figure out who the people are, and so it causes a big stir in the town that Miss Buncle is in. And I still have yet to read Miss Buncle Married, so hopefully in the near future I would read that. Then I got a mystery I'd been interested in for a while, and that is Sidney Chambers and the Shadow of Death. This is by James Runcie, and this is about the vicar Sidney Chambers living in a small town in England, and he ends up helping the police solve mysteries. He helps mainly Geordie Keating, who is an inspector. He's his friend, and then he starts helping him solve crimes. But can I just say, this is such a beautiful, beautiful mystery copy. I just love how vintage it looks, and the spine, how it looks like an old book, and I just think it's really beautiful. Now, this will be different in that it is basically 6 novella mysteries in this. So that will be different, and I did not I was hesitant about picking this up because of a spoiler in the show that only happened in like season 3. So I don't want to say what it is, but looking in the future books, that spoiler is different. I don't know why. They drastically changed the plot in the TV series. Anyhow, they didn't do it in this, but so I really wanted to check it out then. Then, because of Olive over at a Book Olive, I bought The Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. So I haven't had much luck with like Flapper era books. I DNF'd The Diviners and I was very meh about The Great Gatsby. So I'm actually really not feeling, I love the gold foiling, I'm not feeling in the mood for this at the moment, but I think I will be eventually, and it's just that the writing is supposed to be really amazing. I think it's about basically a chance encounter in 1937 in a Greenwich Village jazz bar. So when I am feeling like this, I think this could possibly be a cozy winter read. Then I ended up happening upon, if you saw my last New York City book haul, I hauled the first in the, Charles Lennox series, which is a Victorian mystery series, and I told you guys I'm really on the hunt for a good Victorian mystery series. And so I happened upon the second one for $1.50, and so I thought I'm willing to take that $1.50 risk that if I don't like the first one, and I can just bequeath these to someone if I don't like them. Then I found one that I've been interested in for a while, and that is The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley, who's a big name in the fantasy world, and this is basically the King Arthur legend from the female perspective. So I thought that was a really cool spin on it, and I also like just how floppy this big one is. So it's one that I could read while eating breakfast, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, then I found just yesterday for $1, and I couldn't resist it. This is one of my favorite Christmas picture books, so I thought Peter has to have this. And it's just called Christmas by Jan Pinkowski. And these illustrations are absolutely stunning. This is based on the book of Luke, the very first passages about the birth of Jesus. And the illustrations just have such a simple elegance about them. I had to get this. So I was very, very excited to happen upon it, and I really look forward to reading this to Peter, and more on this to come during Vlogmas videos. And then I found a hardback copy of the 13th Tale, and I recently read this, and I'm doing a 5 quotes tag that's coming out soon, and I'll talk about this more, but I absolutely love this book. I think it's a new favorite, and I was really skeptical because there aren't many new books that come out that I love, but I absolutely adored this, and I really like how they make it look like an old book, the spine, and then the, you know, marble paper look, and then how the actual binding of the book just looks like an old book. So I really wanted a copy of this, and this is one I will most definitely read. I will most definitely reread, and I took Jen Campbell's advice and picked it for an autumn read, and it was perfect for autumn. Okay, then the Birthday Money Book Depository order. So one that I already unboxed, because if you've ordered from Book Depository, you'll know there is no rhyme or reason to their shipping. And so one of them already came in, and that is this beautiful, 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 I already put it on Instagram, Vintage Classics edition of The Enchanted April. It's absolutely stunning. Just look at that. And I love the red spine. It's by Elizabeth Von Arnim. And if you don't know what The Enchanted April is, this is a very Kate modern classic about these 4 women living in England, and the weather is very dreary at the time, you know, the spring rain, and so the 4 of them who have just happened to meet excuse me, the 4 of them rent a villa in Italy for the month of April, and their lives are forever changed from that. And this is just one of my favorite modern classics. I absolutely love it. The writing is beautiful, the humor, it's just wonderful, like so many modern classics are. On to the unboxing, which I'm so excited for, guys. So like I said, I've really been thinking and plotting and planning for my December reading that I'll be doing. So here's this. Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to Book Depository shipping. So on to the books. Okay, so I started the year with Estella Gibbons with Nightingale Wood, and so I'd like to end the year with Estella Gibbons, and this is a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be, which is really exciting because I love Stella Gibbons. So I got a red spine edition of The Bachelor. And this is about a brother and sister, Constance and Kenneth, and they live just outside of the reach of London and the Blitz. But when a series of uninvited guests converges upon them, from a Balkan exile to Ken's old flame and the siblings' old reefish father, the household struggles to preserve its precious peace. In this full house, in a quiet corner of suburbia, no one expects to find romance. So I absolutely enjoyed Nightingale Wood. It's one of my favorite books, and I really wanted to try some more Stella Gibbons. Just kind of, I was really craving that modern classic era. So it's fun to get the Enchanted April and The Bachelor, and then onto the box that I got. Let's see. How shall I go about this? Okay, so they're all in there. All right, let's do this one. Okay, so this is Queen Lucia and Miss Mapp by E.F. Benson. So this is following the modern classic theme. I have been wanting to read these books ever since I heard Lil from Lil's Vintage World talk about it, and these are just supposed to be really, really hysterical stories, modern classics. Oh, and this is a nice, cozy, like flimsy, floppy paperback. I'm very excited about that. Mapp and Lucia, Miss Emmeline Lucas, who's called Lucia, and then Miss Elizabeth Mapp. And they are really opposite personalities, and there's just supposed to be whole heaps of humor in these. And so these were in other editions, but this is Vintage Classics just released these bound up. So Queen Lucia as one book and Miss Mapp as another book, and so they bound them up together. But this is so lovely and floppy, and I really want to read these. And if I like this one, I'll get the next ones in the series. Okay, the next one that I got, this is not going to seem like a typical Kate book. It's called The Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher. So I saw Jen Campbell and Elena from Elena Reads Books talk about this, and Elena just said she thinks it's one that as Matilda gets older, she'll be able to read with her. So I'm hoping that as Peter gets older, I'll be able to read it with him. And I just think it'd be fun to read a children's book at Christmas. And oh my, yeah, it's definitely a children's book. Look how big the print is. So I think I could definitely kind of dash through this. And it just takes place in the North Pole. There's a boy and his dad and Santa Claus, and then an elf, and then the most unusual dinosaur, the Christmasaurus. And so it's just supposed to be a really fun children's adventure tale set at Christmas, and I think it would just be really fun, maybe even like on Christmas Day I could read it. And I'm looking forward to it, something different. Okay, then in plastic wrap to protect it, I got an Elizabeth Gouge, because who doesn't need an Elizabeth Gouge at Christmas time? And I convinced Ange not only to buddy read Stella Gibbons' The Bachelor, but I just kept talking about Elizabeth Gouge to her, so we're going to read The Dean's Watch together. And it says, a compelling saga of an unlikely friendship threaded together by redemption and grace. And yes, this is just supposed to be really great. It's set in mid-19th century cathedral town, and it just sounds wonderful. It involves a watchmaker, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I think also maybe he befriends the vicar. And then lastly, I wanted some like vintage crime for Christmas time. So I picked up Madam Will You Talk by Mary Stewart. So I raved about 9 Coaches Waiting for Mary Stewart, and she's definitely, I think, as good as Daphne du Maurier from what I've read. So I wanted vintage crime for Christmas, so I picked up Madam Will You Talk. And this is about the sun-drenched landscape of Provence, but Charity's dream holiday turns into a nightmare as she becomes embroiled in a murder attempt, and she finds herself falling in love with the suspected murderer. So yes, I'm very thrilled about this. I slowly but surely would like to read all of Mary Stewart's works, and I just really like this edition of it. Anyhow, I hope that you guys enjoyed this unboxing and book haul, and I'm very excited for Vlogmas. So I tell you what, if you have any special requests for Vlogmas, you can put them, and if I think it's possible, I will do it. So have a lovely day, guys, and I will see you for another video soon.